Oh, someone hears us.
Oh, yeah, I hear you now.
Oh, good. Oh, okay.
All right, so we're good. Jason, get back over here.
We're good.
Awesome.
We're good.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know.
Okay.
It works. People are saying they can hear us, so then all of a sudden Easton can hear us.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
Cool. All right. All right, guys. Let's go through the craziness. It looks like I just had them muted on my end, and everybody else could hear them, but not me. So we're getting started here. First, I want to just welcome everybody to the Art6Figures.com's first podcast. This is super exciting for me. We've been working on building this website and this education platform for quite a while now. And I'm excited to actually launch the first podcast with Jason and Joanne. These guys are incredible photographers, and they are just absolutely crushing it recently with in-person sales. You all know that my biggest thing is if it's working, cool. But if you aren't making any money with it, then it doesn't matter, right? So these guys, we're just going to go straight to talking to money first, and then we're going to figure out how they actually got there because I'm excited about those types of things. So these guys made $100K in 1 quarter of 1 year. Is that right?
Yeah.
It was close.
All right.
Yeah, right.
And that was so you already had your business, you were running everything the way that you were running it, and then you implemented this in-person sales with some new strategies and techniques, as well as, the client experience, I think you mentioned to me before. So why don't you guys just take a couple minutes and just tell us about yourselves and, give us the rundown.
Well, do you want a little background of where we started and all that?
Yeah. Just give us a little rundown.
I'm the talker. So
and you guys have to talk louder, by the way.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Can we pull this a little closer?
Yeah, there you go.
That? Okay. So, Joanne, has been a photographer for, a good 20 years. I mean, even in high school, I met her and, she taught me and basically I started shooting with her. And, that was 8 years ago or so. And, we were very much a shoot and burn. That was right when
thing.
They got huge as digital grew. Shoot and burn became a thing, and we just kind of did what everybody else did. It's like, well, people want digital files, so that's what they're going to get. And then as time went on, especially over the last couple of years, we realized that people were just taking those files we gave them and putting them in a drawer and never looking at them again. And we couldn't understand why someone would do that. And so we just kind of.
I don't think they knew either. Like we've asked clients and they don't know why. They just want to have them and put them in the drawer and they don't have a reason why.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. They just want them because everyone else wanted them. So they kind of demand that. And it never really made sense because in our house, we have photographs of our family all over the walls and we do, large print pieces, kind of like the stuff you see over our shoulder of our own family. And so we really, about a year ago, it was kind of like we just started thinking about it. We decided to make a change, but we didn't really know how to make the change. So we just slowly started pushing print, literally like 5x7s and 8x10s. And we had online galleries with shoot proof. And we noticed also we would offer a print credit to people, but they would use exactly, so say it was $200, they would use exactly $200, not a penny more. And sometimes they would order just enough to where the tax and the shipping was covered too, because they didn't want to spend a penny.
Wow.
And we didn't understand it. And then so we literally went down to Sam's Club like I don't know, 10 months ago, and we bought a 70-inch TV, and put it in our living room. And we're like, we're going to try this out and actually use Fundy software. We're going to project their images up on that big screen and see if it does anything. And so the first person that came in, they spent like $800 or something right off the bat. And we were like, oh, this actually works. And we were blown away.
And they were so excited.
Yeah. We saw how the client experience changed completely. The clients immediately were like, oh, this is so fun. And this is so great. And then we started, implementing a couple little snacks into it and give them a drink or something and just make it like a little party.
Well, I think a big thing was before everything was online, they had an online gallery, which just confuses the client. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to choose. But now we sit with the clients and we discuss everything and we help them, and it's so much easier. They were overwhelmed before.
Right.
Yeah.
So talk me through the beginning. How do you set it up? Right. Is it from the first phone call that you get from them, letting them know, or, does it come later on?
Well, we ended up last May or June, we went up to Portland and took a 6-day workshop with Steve Saporito for Intuition to Succeed.
Yeah.
And he has very specific structure in the way that you, from the first client contact on. And so for us, we very much, we plant the seeds right off the bat using the way, kind of like the techniques that we learned from him, to where you're always talking about the finished product, not, and you're talking about everything, but you're always moving that part of the process forward, discussing the end product, what we're going to do with these great photographs after your photo session and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you guys are getting inquiries coming in, what do you do with those?
Well, it's more important to actually have a phone call with them. So we changed everything. Before, everything was online. Everyone wants to text. Everyone wants to email. But a phone call is so much more personal. And when you're photographing a family, it's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
You're being invited into their lives and learning about who they are. So it just makes sense to be able to verbally, communicate rather than online.
Right. So we pick up the phone. We ask them if they email. Well, they usually do email. That's how most of our inquiries come in. And we write them back and say, hey, when's a good time to talk? So we don't really give any information. We just want to get them on the phone so we can have a real conversation, learn about them, learn about their motivation behind their shoot. Some people want to do a boudoir shoot, and it's important to them because it's they've transformed their lives through fitness in some way, or because they feel empowered because of a change that's happened in their life. And we wouldn't know that if we just sent an email and said, yeah, it's X amount of dollars for your session and see you on March 5th,
Right.
So I think it's important for the clients to feel a connection with us to want to move forward.
Right. So it's a lot of positioning that comes in the beginning, right? From the first time that you actually speak with them. It's 2017 and nobody wants to talk on the phone, right?
Right.
Just the fact that I would have to talk on the phone to somebody that I don't know, it's already scary, right? You're just like, I could text them or I can email them or whatever. But I found the same thing, that once I do actually pick up the phone and call these people, I almost lock them down, or at least give myself like 100% better chance of booking them, because I can put things in their head like, well, just so you know, if you do go out and look at other people, make sure that they give you a full wedding gallery. And, you're putting these like thoughts in their heads of like, okay, well, here I am. I'm, a professional. I'm a photographer. And if you meet with other people that are saying that they're professionals and that they're photographers, here's kind of things that you should expect, and then when they don't get them, they don't get the personal phone call, they don't get the full gallery, then they come running back to us. And it's like, yeah, we wouldn't believe it. We met with these people and these people, and like, nobody had the time to call us. It was just an email, and then it took 3 days to get it back. And then I'm like, all right, well, that's kind of making me, have a much better position to win in this industry,
Yeah.
And making the change was really scary for me, at least, because I don't talk a lot. So my phone would ring. Oh, no, let it go to voicemail. So that was the biggest part. Is we, as photographers, we have to pick up the phone. So that I think was the biggest thing.
Yeah. Breaking your bad habits of wanting to just email people all the time is a big thing. And then also learning to really listen to people, like actively listening to them and steering the conversation to get them to really open up to you. Because it's one thing just to get on the phone and talk about the session, but it's another to talk about the personal aspects of the session. And that part is really key, because it kind of, it makes them feel a connection to the photographs before you've even picked up a camera.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some purpose there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just real quick, guys, if you have any questions for Jason and Joanne, just post them in the chat there. They can actually respond to you. So go ahead and fill up that chat with tons of questions as we keep on going through this, all right? So the other thing that interests me is The actual presentation. So are you still currently using the 70-inch in your living room? Or have you evolved from that? How did that work when you first started it versus what you're doing now?
Well, we upgraded slightly. So we built an entire room
Okay.
at the house. We built, it used to be my band's rehearsal studio, and we took that studio and turned it into a design consultation studio. And we have a 120-inch screen that drops down out of the ceiling, and we have a ultra high def projector, and we have dimmable recessed lighting in the ceiling, and we have French sofas, and it's it's an entire and then the walls, like this is one of the walls behind us. This is a 5-piece 80-inch wide. Let me give you a little view. This is a 80-inch wide art collection on the wall. There's some stuff leaning on the walls down here. There's stuff on all the other walls, and we people very much buy what they see. So when you walk into a Porsche dealership, the first thing you see on the floor is their best cars, because you immediately have that plan in your mind. So we have the most expensive and biggest collections that we sell in this room, because people immediately are saying, well, I need that for me. And so they are linking their shoot to that artwork.
Right. People don't know what they want to buy until they see it. So that's a huge thing, just to be able to have product to show them.
Right. And it's hard if you can do this in any space you have in your house. We just realized that spending we spent several $1,000s building this room, and it was worth it because in the first sale it was paid for. And but if you have just an office somewhere or a quiet room, if you have to use your living room, that's okay too. I mean, we did the first 5 or 6 of them in our living room, and it worked great. And that was what motivated us to actually convert this space.
Right. I mean, you don't have to go all out, but just have something to start with.
Right.
We're getting some questions.
Oh, we have some questions.
Yeah. So somebody wanted to know, if they're if their clients are from out of town, that's probably a harder situation if you need to get them to come back to you. So do you have any advice for them?
Right. Yeah. So what we do with them is we use Fundy software, and we just do kind of like what we're doing here. We do a screen sharing session, and sure, you can't project everything on the wall at 1-to-1 scale, but we actually can just show them. Like, we just had a wedding client the other week, and we showed them their wedding photos for the first time via a Google Hangout, and then went through their album. We pre-designed an album for them and showed them that. And that was the first thing we showed them, was the album. So it's already album. This is what you want. And they loved it. And it worked out really well because we got to interact with them and see their emotion for seeing their photos for the first time. And for us, we live in a small town in Arizona, and pretty much, 9 out of every 10 weddings is somewhere else than here. And so that's a process we have to be comfortable with doing that. And which also answers Sergey's question, which we use Fundy software, the Fundy Gallery Designer and Album Builder instead of ProSelect. But yeah, it works out really well.
Nice. Just trying to go through these questions here. So you guys use pre-selected images. Oops, sorry, dropped my phone. Do you guys use pre-selected images when you come over for a for an album kind of design presentation?
Yeah, when we do an album, we actually design it for them. And what we found out was that if we put up a gallery of, say, 600 images from a wedding, a client is going to have a really hard time picking the ones that need to go into an album to tell the story.
And they will never do it.
And they'll never do it. They'll sit for a year or two. And we actually have clients, one client, we did their wedding in September of 15. They still haven't approved their album because we were doing things like that before. It's like, here, you design the album, let us know what you think, and we'll get back to you. So now we actually do it for them, and we let them know, this is what we thought best told the story of your day. And so, and here, what do you think? And then we let them know it's okay to make a few changes, but they generally go, this is perfect.
Right. So do you so in the actual, like when they come and meet with you guys and they select their package or whatever, is it X amount of images for your album and then you overload it, or do you leave it at that, or do you have some extra highlight images in there?
We definitely overbuild. So we go by the photograph instead of by the spread, which gives us flexibility in the design. And so we actually overbuild. We did an album recently where I think it came with 40 photographs, and they ended up doing 110. and that was over the summer, and that was
huge.
It was huge. The album was,
album.
yeah, that was so big that we use Renaissance albums, and they were like, look, this is thicker than we actually can make. We're going to make it for you. We just can't guarantee it. If someone drops it and it somehow comes apart from the sheer weight,
right?
we can't
Renaissance
warranty.
never built an album that big before.
It was literally like 5 inches thick. It was unbelievable, and it was beautiful. And yeah, so
this is a good question right here.
Oh, from Lisa or Katie?
Right here is, yeah.
Oh, do you want to drive the questions, Easton? Or?
Yeah, that's fine. You guys, if you guys do see something, go ahead and answer it.
It's actually a really great question.
Yeah. So Katie, let's talk about what Katie asked.
We've got clients who've been with us from the beginning and have always purchased the digitals from the online gallery. Now I've switched to in-person sales. Any suggestions for breaking the news to them that we do things differently now?
So that was really scary for us. And we did have a client. She was just determined. No, I always get the digitals. I want the digitals. And
I don't know why I want them, but I want them.
and she's a very organized, detailed person, and she keeps very, good care of all of her digitals, and she prints everything herself. And so she was not going to do a photo shoot with us. Well, her mom ended up scheduling one anyways. And after going through the whole process, the whole experience, the mom was just so excited. She asked why we never did this before. She loved the idea. And then the daughter got artwork and she fell in love with it. And all of a sudden, nobody cares about digitals anymore. So it was our own fears, projecting onto the client, thinking they're not going to like this, when in actuality, they loved it more.
Right. And that leads into, a really good saying that Steve Saporito always tells us is clients borrow our confidence. So if we are hesitant to let them know what we're doing and we don't seem excited about it, they're going to have a hard time feeling excited too.
Right.
So we don't ever let on, or in any way, shape, or form, that we're uncomfortable with the fact that this is what we do. We're actually proud of it and we embrace it.
Right. If they sense that we're uncomfortable, they think, well, what's wrong? Should I not purchase this?
Right.
Yeah.
And then Lisa had a good question. She said, do any of your clients hesitate or say they are just too busy to come and view? So the way we deal with that, and we haven't had it happen yet, and it's because from the moment they call, we explain to them that that's what they're going to do. So we're going to do your shoot, and usually we try to do right afterwards. So if we're out on location shooting in the desert or something, we go, okay, stop and grab a coffee and meet us back at the studio in 20 minutes. And on the way back, I'm importing into Fundy, and I'm already getting everything ready for a presentation. And then we get them back here and we sit them down and we do the shoot. So we did a boudoir session on Wednesday. And while she was getting dressed and getting herself back in her street clothes, Joanne talked with her and kind of entertained her for about 10 minutes. And I had the session set up and ready to go in the studio, where she walked right in, designed her album, and was able to go home, and it's done.
And the clients they're excited at that point. They just finished the photos. Oh, I get to see them right now. They're thrilled.
Yeah, it works out really nicely.
That's huge.
Yeah, Callie, or go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, do you guys give digitals at all now?
We give just complimentary web size for the ones that they actually get the wall art. Mm-hmm. So for like this 5-piece here, they got those 5 images complimentary.
Yeah.
There.
And they're just web size, share them on Facebook. They're not for print or anything else.
So how do you position that when the client comes in, especially like in our area? I know especially like so many people just expect that they're going to get the digitals, and they even put it in their inquiry most of the time. When it comes through the email, it's like, we just want our digital files and that's it, and then our wedding packages had an album included with them, so they would at least get some type of print. Then now that we're starting to make this migration over,
right,
I'm excited to see how the impact happens. But so how did you tell these clients, no, you're not going to get these digitals, and what how did that look, and then how did you overcome their hesitations?
Well, it's slightly different weddings. With weddings, we actually give them small digital files. We call it a backup, basically a digital backup. So we take away the value. We don't want people to feel there's a value in digital photographs. So we very much just refer them as a digital backup. It's not anything that you do anything with. It's just there for your peace of mind or to share on social media.
Yeah, and I guess because we felt like a lot of it is documentary, it was different than doing a photo session. So
yeah,
you supply
with
small.
Yeah, with the documentary photography, it's not often that they're going to create a big piece of wall art out of the cake cutting. So supplying them a small files that they can just feel good about them and share them in a Facebook gallery is okay. But still, from the very beginning, we're discussing albums, we're discussing wall art, and that never leaves the conversation. And so when we go to a portrait session, it's much easier because you're not dealing with 600 photographs. We don't, so that's a little easier because they're picking, for wall art, they're going to pick 5 or 6 different photographs they love to do a collection out of, and then for an album, they're going to pick 20 to 40 photographs they love. That so we only probably deliver 40 photographs from a portrait session anyway.
Right.
So we did have that, Josie, who really wanted the digitals from her son's shoes.
Yeah. The other day we had a senior session, and she really wanted the digitals, and really, really, really wanted the digitals. And she kept talking about the digitals even at the design consultation. But she ended up purchasing wall art, and she ended up purchasing a presentation box that has 30 mounted printed photographs in it.
And we even asked her, "What do you want to do with the digitals?" And she said, "Nothing." She says, "I don't do anything with them." She says, I just always get them and I do nothing with them. So
it's like I take so many pictures on my phone, and I don't know that I've ever looked at them again after I take them. Like occasionally you're in a conversation with a buddy or something, and you're like, "Hey, check this out. This happened the other day." And then aside from that, you don't even really remember the pictures that are on your phone because it just piles up, right? And same thing with videos. Unless you share it on Facebook and you get that 20 minutes of interaction time out of it, and then it's gone, right?
You're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Interesting question here. So the change, because I'm sure that when you gave digital galleries before and you weren't inviting them into the studio and whatnot, the first impression, the first time that they see their wedding photos, these, the one time, one of a kind, their only big day, those photos, they're seeing those photos the first time on their cell phone for the most part. Right, because they open up the Pixie Set gallery or whatever gallery you use, and they see it on that or an iPad or maybe their laptop. Have you seen a big change from people being able to see and be impacted by the image, their images on that big screen? And is there a difference between the TV and the screen?
Well, the technical differences is that you want to be able to project the wall art at 1:1. So when we have this giant 80-inch collection up here, you can't show that on a screen. And we in the Fundy software suite, we actually have most of our clients, if they will do it, which most do, take a photograph of a few spaces in their home for us, and then we actually put the artwork to scale on their very wall so they can see what it looks like and visualize it. And it's such a powerful tool. It's invaluable. We do it with every client that we can to show them what their actual artwork looks like in their actual home. And that visualization is super powerful as well. It's just as powerful as seeing the pieces here in the studio.
And we let our clients know that when they're investing this much into a piece of art for their home, we want it to fit them as a family. We want it to fit their wall. So it's important for them to see the scale on their own wall.
Right. We treat it like it's a high-end purchase. The whole experience is ultra high-end. And, from wedding clients getting, really high-end macarons as a gift when they come to us, or even sometimes bottles of Dom, we treat the whole thing as a high-end experience so that immediately it's just, like I said, you walk into a Chevy dealership and it's going to be a whole different experience from walking in a Jaguar dealership. You're going to be treated completely differently. And we want people to have that, that high-end experience. So we're talking about high-end art. We're quoting prices before they even come in for their shoot too. We don't wait and drop a surprise on them at the end and say, "Oh, by the way, this is $5,000." It's We let them know from the beginning that we have collections and they range in this price range, and most clients spend X amount.
Gotcha. That's cool. So the prints that are on the back wall behind you, how much do they sell for?
What's this one? 42?
This one's 30.
38. This is a $3,800 collection. These 5 pieces here. I can show it again real quick for people. So that's a 40 by 40 in the middle, and then on the ends, those are 19 inch, 19 by 19s on the ends there. Mm-hmm. That one's 38. 238, yeah.
38.
38, yeah. And I think we have one other collection that's about 42, and it's got two 40 by 40s and two 20 by 20s. This one's real popular, and it comes in two different sizes. We sell this quite a bit, and then we also do the, if you look at this one right here,
40 by 40.
It's a 40 by 40, and it's got like 3 photographs on one piece, and that's real popular too. And a lot of people get one of each, which works out really well as well.
So how are those acrylics?
Those are actually Hahnemühle paper wrapped around birch wood and then mounted to a standout. And so they're one-off pieces that we use a special lab for, and they're really cool. So they're basically a gallery wrap, but it's actually wrapped around wood. Then it's laminated with a matte laminate on super fine art paper and ready to hang. They're really cool.
That's cool. I like that a lot. So, how many products overall are you trying to, like, do they have tons of options, or do they have limited options? And do you find, I've always found that less options is better for most of what I'm trying to work with. The more times I give them like more and more options, then they become indecisive.
Right. They get confused.
Yeah, we have about 10 different types of collected pieces.
Right. And it all depends on the space they have. So if they have a specific space, they'll have maybe 2 or 3 options to put in that space.
Right. Yeah. And we have elongated pieces that are like a long strip, it's 60 inches wide, 16 inches tall. That'll fit nice over a television if you don't have massive walls. So we have pieces that, if they say, oh, well, that's too big for me. Well, that's okay. We have something that will work. And so we definitely give them a range of sizes and shapes and show them ways that it can be arranged where it will fit their space. But we certainly don't want them to have something that won't work for their space.
Right, right. And so how do you position the prices and stuff like that? Do they, from like day one, do they know they're going to be coming back into this reveal party thing, and that they're going to, they need to bring their debit card or whatever? Or like, how is that positioned?
And we'll actually even make a joke. You're going to love this so much, be sure you clear your credit cards. That's right. We'll literally tell people that. So we never act shy about the fact that they're coming here to spend money.
Right.
We very much talk about that. And Joanne talks a lot about how much, and she's very truly, she loves all the photographs in our home. We have a massive 60 by 40, 3-inch thick canvas in our living room of our family. And then all around the rest of the room, there are larger, 20 by 30s and things like that. And she brings clients in through the house. And as she's walking through the house, she talks about and genuinely expresses how much she loves walking through our house and looking at pictures of our family. And most people just don't have that. At the most, they'll have one of those little collages you can get from Ross that has like a bunch of 4x6s in it. But they see this in our house and they go, we want that. I want that for my family.
I can see my kids' faces from across the room. And I love that. I love being able to walk in my living room and see my children. You have little tiny prints on the wall. You have to like walk up to it and look at it. But I want to get that, that emotion as soon as I walk into my living room.
Yeah,
sure.
Across the room.
And showing them showing them and them knowing that we invest in the same kind of artwork for ourselves is really helps them, again, with borrowing our confidence and knowing that it's okay for them to celebrate their family and to invest in something that they can cherish for their family as well.
Right. And people will break their television. They don't think twice about going out and spending $2,000 or $3,000 on another TV. They'll find a way. That day, they'll find a way.
Right.
People don't put that same value in their family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah. If you broke your TV, I know you'd go today and get another one.
Right. Yeah. Not necessarily me, because I don't even watch it. My cable and everything. But my wife misses her housewife shows.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I totally understand. It's interesting because when I want something really bad, I'm going to save up for it. Right. Say it's $5,000, $10,000. So it's not something that I can just go out and buy because I need my new TV right now. It's something that I've got to work for, right? So when I do that, and I have the $5,000 or whatever it is in my hand, and I go to the place and I'm like, yo, I'm here for that. Give me that. Here you go. And it's like the best feeling in the world, right? Because you're like, I worked for this. I saved up the money, and now here I am, and that's mine now.
Absolutely.
Like that's it's very applicable to this, because although people may not have known that they wanted something, you guys are kind of starting from the very beginning and allowing them to realize almost subconsciously that they need this, right?
That's
and
right.
then So just generally speaking, 80%, the 80-20 rule. So 20% of people, when they see something, they're going to buy it on impulse. But the other 80% of people need a reason to be convinced. They need to know why it's going to either save them time or make them money or improve their life in some way. So I feel like you guys are really doing that from the first time that they actually contact you, and then getting on the phone with them and setting that tone, and then just every step of the way, and the gifts that you guys are sending them and whatnot. I feel like you're taking that 80% and really making it much more in your favor. And I think it goes back to just the fact that you are trying to put the client first in the entire overall experience, right?
No, that's right. And yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the how much did you make thing, but the client experience has changed completely. And we used to, the funny thing is as good of a job as we have done, as being photographers and being well known and all those things and working a lot, the clients actually didn't refer people a whole lot. And We've gotten more referrals now. People are sending people our way left and right because they're like, I had the best experience with you and I want someone else to have that same experience.
Right.
Well, and we spent so much time perfecting our craft and not enough time on the actual client as a person. So clients don't really care like, oh, you're well known, or, oh, you have all these great photos. All they care about is their family.
Yeah.
True.
And we didn't get that.
Yeah, we were busy trying to make wow photos, which that part's become easy now. Now it's about doing something great and making your clients have a wow experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, that changes everything.
It's very interesting how you see, I've seen tons of different photographers, and some are just like, they're very technically sound and they do their thing. But when I look at them, I'm like, not, I wouldn't ever want you to shoot anything for me, but it's working for them, right? They've got the skill set that they have, and they're doing one thing, but they're advertising to their customer that is what they're going to do, and they're leading them down that road, right? And so a lot of people are like, oh, well, you're not a very good photographer, or you're not, or I saw that person. And it's like, it's not, it's about the fact that you may not think that they're good, but that you don't understand the entire, process that they're going through, where like, for instance, if I built my entire brand around an epic lit portrait that I posed and it was totally not organic, if I'm setting that tone from the beginning, then it could work because I'm at least educating the clients, right? Or if it's moments or whatever it is that I'm trying to specialize in, headshots, weddings, whatever it is, as long as I'm leading them from, the moment that they inquire with me all the way through and setting the expectations, I feel like regardless, I'm going to have a lot more success than if I didn't do that, Right.
And yeah, it's all about setting the expectation. So, and if there's no emotional connection, that's like when you look at other people's work, say you're going through and looking at family photos by another photographer, you may not feel the same way about those photos as the family that was in them, but it's our job to help create that emotional attachment to the photographs. And that's what we do from the moment we pick up the phone and start learning about our clients, asking them their motivation for their shoot. And it's amazing watching them sit on our sofa and look at the photos go by and tears rolling down their cheeks. And you don't have that if you aren't creating that emotional connection to the photographs.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask, so real quick, I'm just going to interject. I'm going to ask like one or two more questions. If you guys have any more questions, post them in the chat real quick, because we're getting ready to wrap up. I don't want to take up everybody's time. We went over a little bit of time because we had some technical difficulties in the beginning trying to get audio because I just was not.
Yeah, there's some great questions in here.
Yeah. So real quick, theartof6figures.com. We just launched it, and this is the first podcast webinar with Jason and Joanne from Imagine Photography. Right now, we have a huge giveaway going on, and we're going to have a couple of them going on every month leading up to when we actually launch theartof6figures.com. So right now, we're giving away a brand new iPad, and we're also giving away a 2-hour coaching session with myself and my business partner, who's in with me on theartof6figures.com. So you can go to that website right now, or not right now, because we still have a couple questions for them, but you can go to that website. And what we're asking people to do is when you sign up, you'll basically get first early access, because we're going to have some beta testers coming in to kind of give us the, try to break the site, and then we'll fix it, and then break it again, and then we'll fix it, kind of thing. But we're also just getting ready to like roll out tons and tons of stuff. You'll get first access to all that, and then on the next page, after you give your email address and sign up, you'll actually be able to share it. So in order to qualify for this prize pack with the 2-hour mentorship session, as well as the iPad, you're going to need to sign up on theartofsixfigures.com, and then on the next page, you're going to share it on 2 social networks. Once you've done that, then you qualify. So feel free to go to that afterwards, and I'll put the link up in the chat for you guys all after we get done with these guys. I just want to thank you guys, first of all, for coming on. This has been so incredible, and I'm sure everybody's learning a lot. Let's get back to the question real quick. The one that was really interesting to me is, so you guys said you're doing this for portraits and weddings. How is it working for weddings versus how is it working for portraits?
Well, I think we kind of touched on it, but basically for weddings, people are generally elsewhere, so we have to spend our time using screen sharing and Fundy software to show the clients their photographs, but we still do the whole first part of the process the same. We still create the emotional connection. We still want to learn everything we can about them genuinely before we photograph their wedding. And for weddings, it's very much about albums, and then, add on some artwork as well. So yeah, I mean, our very first wedding we did after implementing the process, the album, it was a $4,000 wedding album. And I never thought in a million years that we would sell an album that was $4,000. I mean, literally it was like, this is unbelievable. And it was just mind blowing. So it works. You just, and like I said, we went to a specific training for it with Steve Saporito, and that's where we've learned what we do. And the cool thing about his process is it's not just about selling things, it's about the emotional connection with the clients and actually giving a better client experience.
Right.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so what do you average per sale for wedding versus the average sale for portraits?
Well, yeah, that's going to blow their minds. Yeah.
Portraits, actually, for the amount of time we put into them, is more worthwhile financially.
Yeah, it sounds insane. And I love shooting weddings because I love documentary photography, but we're making as much generally on a portrait session as we do on an entire wedding. And in a wedding, we spend dozens of hours on, and, there's hundreds of photographs, and we can go shoot an hour portrait session and literally make what we make on a wedding. And we do that consistently.
Right. That's awesome. So a wedding is going to take you like 40 hours maybe-ish. And that's going to span out over a year and a half time. Whereas a portrait session comes into the studio, and by the time they're changing back into their clothes, you've already got the reveal and the album made, and $3,500 in the bag.
Right, exactly. And it literally works like that every time. Right. So, we recently had a client that they had us shoot just their family that was in town over the holidays, and between the few purchases they've all made, it was $13,000 in sales
for an hour.
For an hour, we literally shot an hour and $13,000.
Right.
They're not done. That's the crazy part. They keep calling us up, going, "Hey, I want to get this now," and it's everybody in the family just wanting to buy things. So it's huge. We could never do that with that's a couple of weddings and 80, 100 hours of work.
Yeah. And so do you charge a session fee for those, or are you just having people come in and the actual shooting part is free, but they have to buy stuff?
The session fee is really low. We want a low barrier to entry. Obviously, our time's worth something, but we just do a really low session fee that's in the very low hundreds of dollars. It's not significant at all.
Right.
Yeah. That's
awesome. Let's see. So, and do you have your albums included in your wedding packages?
We actually, we do not right now, but I think we're going to be transforming it a little bit because we want to have something, the very basic in there to start with, and that just gets it in there automatically. At this point, though, it's literally just for our time and talent, you could say. So,
right. Awesome, guys. Well, unless everybody has any last minute questions.
There's a few in here that weren't quite answered. Do you want us to maybe just chat them back, or do you want me to quick fire some of these, or what do you think?
Yeah, any questions that went unanswered here, we'll be able to answer them after this ends.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that they're all in there. But guys, thank you so much for taking the time out and just joining us on this webinar. I'm sure people got a ton out of it. Again, you can check out their work at, what is it, imaginephotography.com?
It's imaginephotoaz.com.
Okay, imaginephotoaz.com. So make sure you check out their work. These guys are super awesome too. If you've never met them, if you've never hung out, or you've never chatted with them on Facebook, they are always willing to share what's working for them and invest in other people. They're just super down to earth and super chill. It's kind of hard to find amazing people like them in this time of for our country. Anyway.
Yeah, we're really glad we got to do this. I don't know how glad Joanne is because she hates doing this. She hates talking to people, but I love it. So anytime you want to talk, I'm here. But no, this was really fun to do, and I'm glad we got to be your crash test dummies for this thing. It was really fun, and we're glad all of you were here and sharing your questions with us. And we're happy to, Easton, if we need to hop into the group and answer some of these questions after, I'm happy to do that with you. I've got plenty of time today. And we appreciate everybody being here, and we appreciate you for having us. And it's been really fun and a great time doing this.
Good, man. I'm so excited to hear that. Guys, we're going to be trying to do this more and more often. I'm not going to tell you we're going to do it once a month or once a week yet because we're still kind of ironing stuff out. But as we get closer and closer to actually launching theartofsixfigures.com, we're going to just be kind of rolling stuff out. So if you're signed up on the website, you're going to be the first to know of the next giveaway. We've got a bunch of stuff that Adorama gave us. So some flashes, we got some strobes that we're going to be giving away, battery packs. I think we have the Streetlight 360, which also comes with the battery pack and the trigger. So we're going to be giving that away probably next month. This month is the iPad and the mentorship or coaching session with us. And so guys, please spread the word, help us spread the word, because I feel like this is a huge piece of what is missing in this industry. Everybody follows another photographer because they take great pictures, right? But at the end of the day, those great pictures we may or may not like, may or may not be making them money, right? Oh. So it all comes down to what are you doing and how are you running and positioning your business to be able to be successful and profitable. And a lot of us have a hard time giving up some stuff like our editing or our creative, approach or whatever. And sometimes we can get stuck in our head where we're like, oh yeah, well, my clients don't like that, but we actually haven't even asked them. Right. So guys, take this information that they've given you and really run with it and ask yourself some of these questions like, hey, instead of just saying, oh yeah, that doesn't work for me in my area because you actually haven't tested it, you just assumed it. Go and do the work, see if it works, and try to actually change your business and become even more profitable than you already are. All right.
Can we give a quick plug?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be at WPPI, and we're doing an off-camera flash photo walk on the 7th at 4 o'clock. And then also we're going to be hanging out at the Fundy booth on the 7th from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and we can actually demo the software for people and show them how we actually create our wall art collections and albums. And so we'll be hanging out there from 10 to 1 on Tuesday at WPPI, and then Tuesday evening at 4 o'clock, we're doing an off-camera flash photo walk. And you can find that info on our Facebook page. We're easy to find. Just search Imagine Photography on Facebook and look for our pretty faces.
Awesome, guys. Well, I'll see you at WPPI as well. I can't wait. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you all next time on theartofsixfigures.com.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.